Hey everyone, and welcome back to the channel. Apologies for the delay between videos. It's been a while since the last one. We haven't had much to do since we put the car on the dyno until now. Today we're going to be working on some cosmetic modifications courtesy of Automodellista in Melbourne, Victoria. My good mate Ricky over there, who runs the company, has got a new splitter set out for the VB WRX. So we'll get straight into it. So this splitter kit is designed to work with both aftermarket and OEM lip kits. I've already gone ahead and test fitted the rear spat and one of the side skirts prior to starting filming, as I wanted to make sure I was getting a good idea of what we need to do. We also have the front splitter, which I'll be showing you through later on. But for now, let's finish off the rear and sides. So I've just gone ahead and removed the rear spat. It is 1 screw and 3 pop clips. This is how it's configured from Subaru, as I got this completed from factory. We then have the Automodellista rear spat splitter attachment. It's just 1 piece polycarbonate, nothing too fancy, but it will match up on the underside here. The kit comes with all included hardware, and I'll just get this marked up and drilled in. I'm just roughly lining the spat up. Grabbing one of the self tappers included in the kit. Just do a quick check of that. That all looks good to me. Line it up again. And there we go. Final look before I get it back on the car. 4 self tappers. Just drill on the underside. I'll flip it over, and you can see it sticks out a little bit more from the original spat design. And I'll get that back on the car, and that'll be what it looks like on the other side. Quick 2-minute reinstall, and we've got the spat back on. So that's the 2 rear spats complete. I'll move on to this side's side skirt spat. The longest part of this is all the screws on the body that I have to take out. I think there's a good 10 or so screws from memory, from where they mounted it in normally, and a couple of pop clips, and I'll get that ready to go and show you how that one lines up. I brought the side skirt inside to use my kitchen bench, as this is the only area I have big enough to support it at the moment. What I've just quickly done is on the previous one, I did some measurement checks and set that all up. Now I've just got a mark on here, and I'll get the first screw in. So with the first one in, I'm just going to go along and just do some visual checks again. Make sure everything's going to line up how I want it to. And I'll just keep screwing in. As you can see, there's quite a few mounting points onto the car for this one, which does make it quite tricky in some places. Now that I've got those 3 points mounted, I'm just going to do a fit check on the front. I took a measurement last time around using some basic calipers. And going along, this looks to be about right. So I'll continue drilling in, and we should be good to go. That's the last screw in. I'll get this remounted to the car and show you the result. As part of this spat upgrade, I've also lifted the car slightly. It's only about 1/3 of an inch, but just to give us some more clearance with this new lip kit in. I've only done the rears so far. I've also just quickly spun the car around and put it in the garage forwards to avoid the lovely Australian afternoon sun. I'm about to get the front bumper off. You guys have seen me do this in several other videos, so I'm not going to run through it too much this time. But it's just a couple of pop clips, a couple of screws, and we'll get the front bumper off and get this front spat of the front splitter in. And just like that, obviously I'm getting pretty good at doing these. I forgot a few things there, like the window washers and which particular ones I needed to take off, but after all that, we've got the bumper completely free. And also, as you can see, I've scraped a few times along this bumper, and I'm going to have to raise the front end as well once we put this piece on to make sure we don't do that again. Just before we start on the bumper, one mod I have done since everything, but I haven't put the video out for, was the Perrin turbo inlet. You can't quite see it, but it will be down in here connecting to the turbo. As part of the instructions, turbo blocks off this natural Subaru boost leak to enhance the brake booster, but Perrin bypasses this and reroutes it. In the instructions, there's a line that comes out here and runs to the right, but in the Australian one, it comes straight up into the brake booster, so you just tap in somewhere along that brake line and you'll be fine. I haven't had any issues so far. To start with, I'm actually going to go through and remove the fog light modules on both sides, as we don't really use fog lights here in Australia, and I've noticed there was a bit of a clash between the fog lights and the intercooler piping when I was reinstalling last time around. So to make it easier on myself this time, I'm just going to go ahead and completely remove this module here. And there's the fog light module out. I probably didn't actually need to take out the first two screws, as they're the ones for the actual fog light. It's just a couple of screws for the actual fog light housing, and that comes completely out. I do still have plans to wire up the JDM bezels, although I do have some other stuff in the works regarding some fog light deletes with a custom company here in Perth. But for the moment, I'm just going to retie these to somewhere else. I won't be bothering with that wiring today. So the first part of the front bumper mods is going to be this lovely carbon fibre piece underlip from Andro Motorsports over in Sydney. This mounts to the bottom of the STi main lip and looks like it just mounts in stock hardware locations. So I'll get that all sorted and we'll move on from there. I ended up bringing the bumper and everything inside to work on it, just so I had a flat surface. I don't know if this is right, but this is what I'm going to be telling everyone. On the back side of the bumper, we have a mounting point at the back here. This kit includes spacers to space out the existing bumper from the lip on these mounting points. So we have the original mounting point there that we're going to take out and use, and then another one just in here, a bit further along. That's a bumper mounting point, and this will be a lip mounting point. Coming a bit further around, there'll be another one just in here. This is the bumper mounting point, and then in front of it, we'll use this as a lip mounting point. This goes through all three lips now. Coming across to the middle, we'll have the same situation, and then just the opposite on the other side, coming around. So I've marked all these up with a small drill bit at the moment just to get my marks in place. I'll take this back out to the garage and drill these all out to size and bolt it up. With the pilot holes drilled, I'm going to go and enlarge these out to 6.5, as the bolts themselves are about 6. So included in the kit from Automodellista, we get the bolts, got a couple of washers, nylock nut, and these spacers. So these will be used in the places where we need to. I'm going to start trying to put this thing together and see how we go. Unfortunately, I decided to do a fair bit of that off camera, so as otherwise you'd just be bleeping a lot of the audio out. We've got 1, 2, and 3 in. Each of these have 2 spacers on them, and they are only loosely mounted at the moment. This center one was quite a bit difficult, but we got there in the end. I'll go through and do these other ones now, but it's starting to look good. Just like that, it looks like we are done for the moment. I've actually only used 5 of the 7 or 8 bolts included. So we've got 2 on either side and 1 in the center. Each one's, so the top one here's got 2 spacers, then we've got 3, 2 again, and then 3 and 2. Talking to Ricky, this one, the middle one should have been 3, but because we've got this other lip in there, that's spaced it all out and we don't need that third one in there. What I'm going to do now is actually set these outer ones up ready for the winglets. So we'll just mark up what we did here and then another drill point probably about here somewhere, and we'll get those connected in and sort it out. So instead of mounting them underneath like I originally was going to, we're now going to undo this whole assembly and I'll mount this as another spacer piece effectively in between. So I'll measure this all up, ready to go, and see how we go. What I'm doing here is, unfortunately, these wing pieces, the way they're riveted together, so I'm just creating some holes for the rivets to sit in. I've already got this re-bolted in, so I have position. There we go. That front one's sitting fine. Just need to readjust that top one again. Ain't quite. Come on, sit. There. Now I've got that kind of positioned, I'll go ahead and tighten that bolt back down. Far from perfect, but we've got the first one semi-mounted. I'm just going to drill one more pilot hole a bit further down. Just going to drill, so we've kind of got it semi-mounted for now. I'm just going to drill one more pilot hole a bit further down. 3 from the front and 3 back. Maybe come 4 across. Yeah, maybe get more on the inside there. The hole's marked up, and pilot hole. Perfect. And we'll do the same as everything else. So it's not completely perfect, and it's definitely not what I intended for this to be, but we've got the main mounting point there, a couple of points for those rivets, and then the front of the piece there. But on the side, it's all looking pretty good there, and I'm quite happy with it. May not be perfect, but it's still looking really good. We are fully complete now, so we've got 3 bolts on this side, 1 in the center there, and then coming back up the other side we've got another 3, and the winglets are on. I'm just going to tidy up the wiring in here, tie that off to somewhere, and then we'll try and get this mounted back up. Front bumper is back on. We'll just do a quick walk around. I will push it out a bit later on and get some last shots. But this is roughly what it looks like, even with those winglets on the side there. So what I'm going to do now is just lift the front end of the car up a little bit again. That'll give us some more clearance with this new lip on. And I've had some issues accessing some areas with the current height of the car, so it's just going to have to come up a fraction, but not too much. Well, it's been a couple of days since I did the install. I'm really happy with the results, and the ride height is now perfect for the car. I've had no clashing with any speed bumps or curbs so far, so I'm really happy with the ride height now. So glad I made that change. Overall look and fit and finish of this product is actually really well done. But for those less experienced, I would highly recommend getting an actual body shop to fit for you. But in this case, I was testing myself to see if I could manage it, and we got some good results, so I'm pretty happy. Coming up, we still don't have too much in the way of mods to go. We do have some white line rear control arms that have just arrived, so I will be getting those installed shortly. And talking to Ricky at Automodellista, he is organising a set of colour match fender flares for this car to go with the new look that we're going after. And eventually I will be going for a colour matched carbon fibre hood. So stay tuned for those, and we'll see you in the next video.